few weeks ago, this lovely person commented on one of my video reviews asking whether I ever reviewed stuff that sounded bad. And to be honest, the real answer is I get a lot of that stuff. I buy it myself, I talk to companies that send me stuff, and generally what you will see on this channel is only the stuff I like. I don't want to necessarily review something that I don't like, that is not inspiring for me. And also, I think everyone's free to do what they want, and this channel is about being positive and getting the right stuff for you guys. So I don't really want to waste time on products that I don't think are good value or that will not sound good. But I've been thinking about one product that I've had for 6 months or so, and cut to the chase, I still don't like it at all. I still don't think it's a good buy, but I think it's a good example of when companies get things wrong. So having said all that, let's go to the studio and see what product I'm talking about. Okay, and here we are back in the studio. Can you see it yet? Do you know what I'm talking about? You may have seen this same design with different brands. To be honest, I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think they probably just give the same basic pedal to different brands, or maybe it's all one brand, but the original one is M-Vave. Apparently, this is the most common and most popular multi-effects amp sim in Asia. So Thailand, Philippines, etc. There's a very big guitar playing community over there, and they love this thing. So, as always with my videos, let's start with the construction. A few years ago, I believe, when this model first came out, and this I think is the second iteration of it, there was a slight problem with the internal battery, which blew up and potentially caused fires, etc., and hurt people. So M-Vave have fixed that in this newer model, so hopefully you're not risking your life buying this. Having said that, overall the construction is really good. It has a very good weight. It stays firmly if you're using it on a pedal board or as a desktop amp, but generally all the knobs and switches feel really solid and are actually very nice. You have a teeny weeny screen here that just tells you what position in your preset list you're on, and if you are tuning, you just press it that way and it goes to the tuner, so you can tune your guitar and these will light up to tell you if you're sharp or flat. Overall, the idea of it and the construction is really simple. You have all your knobs at the top. So you have a master volume, a IR cab with preloaded IRs. If you're in the 0 position, you're bypassing the IRs. Then you have reverb with the mix and the decay, then delay time and delay mix. Then you have a modulation with, I believe, a chorus, a flanger, and a tremolo. Then you have your volume of your amp. This is the amp section. Bass, middle, treble, standard 3-band EQ, I guess. Gain, and your amp type. So you have a number of amps to choose from. Finally, you have a noise gate. In terms of connections, it's really quite good. So you have an XLR balanced output. You have your in and out. You have a USB to connect to the computer. You also have headphones out, and this acts as an audio interface. So there's a lot there. It's really complete, and best of all, hey, it's not plugged into anything. It's got a rechargeable battery, as we mentioned, inside that doesn't blow up. In terms of how it works and the actual use of it, there's 2 main ways to use this. The first one is the preset mode, which I'm currently in. I believe it has 9 banks with 4 different presets in each. So you have preset 1, preset 2, preset 3, preset 4, and then you can change the banks. So you see it goes to bank 5. When you're in this mode, the dials don't make a difference because you're playing in that mode and you have very limited amount of tailoring you can do. So you're just playing with these pre-recorded kind of parameters. The second mode is going to the live scenario. So in order to change that, you press it once, these 2, and you see the L comes on and you're in live mode. Now all of the parameters come in play and you can just dial it in like a normal amp or pedal. So in order to switch, for example, the modulation, you go on the C mod and you see it lights up, and then you can adjust the parameters. Same thing with delay, it lights up. If you want it all off, you go off. The amp, you can actually turn the amp off if you want. The reverb is off here, and the cabs you can adjust here. As I showed you before, the tuner is a long press and it goes on tuner mode. So overall, it's not rocket science, but you just need to get used to knowing what to press where. Let's just plug in to listen to some of these presets, and we'll go on to live mode as well and see if you can hear the same things as me. Okay guys, I'm all plugged in. I've got my jet guitar because it's nice and versatile, humbucker in the bridge, 2 single coils, so we can try it out with this pedal. And what we're doing is going straight from the M-Wave into my audio interface. I didn't go with the USB out because I can't be bothered. And then from there, straight into Reaper, no post effects, nothing. So let's just play around with the banks and the presets. Let's start with bank 1, preset 1. Preset 2. Three. So you see, this is my first problem here. In the preset mode, so this sounds way too bassy, muddy as hell. I can't really change anything here. So the bass, nothing works because they're all bypassed. Do the cabs work? No, you can't really. These are all deactivated. I don't know what that's about, to be honest. I'm sorry. Let's go bank 2, shall we? Okay, let's go to bank 3. Bank 4. Is it me or do all the cleans sound the same? Boring. Jesus Christ. Not even going there. Nothing. And that's it. 9 banks. Woo. Okay, I need a moment. Let's move on to the live, shall we? So to go to the live, you need to just press these two once. And L's on. And now we have finally full control of this thing. So let's see what's on. Master, the reverb is on now. I'm sorry, I normally don't do manuals, but I have no idea what's going on here. What is this? Okay, so you've got 9 amps, and the amps are called type. Okay. Shall we start with the twin? That's a twin. Number 1 is a twin. Let's go to the cab section. The cab. So I'm guessing the cab, the first one is with the cabs off. There's 8 cabs. Let's go to the 5. And I guess you need to count. So off 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 5. Okay, so this is a Fender Champ. Let's put that reverb down. I like reverb, but that's a lot of reverb. Put the treble up a little bit, bass, mid, gain. Can we put the gain up a little bit? I don't want the delay. Okay, that's not doing it. Let's change amps. So that's the Fender. Let's move. What's the second one? Second one is an Archetype CW. No, we're not doing that one. Let's go to Friedman 100. Oh, there is no Friedman cab. So shall we go Marshall 4x12 V30? Marshall 4x12 V30. There you go. Let's try putting some delay on this. You get 3 different types of delays apparently. Take the delay off and let's go modulation. What's this? So one of these is ooh. Sounds like SpongeBob. Try this. What's this modulation? Okay, let's try one more amp. Let's give it a fair shot. What should we try? Let's go with the PV amp and diesel cab. Why does this sound so bad, dude? I don't get it. And what about the noise gate? Is that on? Okay, at least the noise gate works more or less, but you need to max it. Okay guys, I think we need to move on. As usual with my videos, it's time to start wrapping this baby up, and let's start with the pros and cons. And you know what? I'm gonna start with the pros because there's always a positive message somewhere. First of all, the thing is built like a tank. So I've got to say, the name, spot on. It is a tank. It's got really, really good weight. It's very well built. Good materials. It's really inexpensive. You can get it starting from, I think, like 30 bucks on Alibaba or whatever, but it actually has decent materials, and I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting, you know, kind of a plastic thing, and it's not too bad. So construction wise, thumbs up. My second pro has to be the amount of actual technology in here, because it is pretty amazing. The inbuilt battery is really great idea. I wish all pedals had that. And it lasts a hell of a long time. I've played it now for about 4 hours and it's still going strong, so really good. A link to that, all the various inputs and output options and the USB interface, the headphones. It's got everything you really need. My final pro, and I will include this as a pro even though we haven't demonstrated it today, is that potentially this also has the ability to capture sounds. So there is an app that goes with it. You can load up different amp sounds, you can load up different cabinets, etc., and do your own captures. You can do that via the app. Again, the purpose of this video wasn't to show you necessarily the app, but go through the basics first and see if those were sound. But potentially there is further room for development of this product. Now, for those that have been watching my channel, I'm usually quite generous with the pros and don't really often go down hard on the cons. But in this case, I think we just have to be really honest about some of these things. So let's move on to the cons. First of all, I've got to say, guys, it drives me up the freaking wall. I don't understand the logic of this. So this is supposed to work as a desktop amp or as an amp that you put on the floor, right? And a multi-effects. Now, unless you have really weird feet, tell me how you are supposed to access and go bank up, bank down by pressing these two with your toe at the same time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You need to try it again. Now, I understand there's limited footprint here, so you can't put 300 switches, but how are you supposed to do that? I'm sorry, I just don't get it. And same thing with the tuner. You want to tune up real quick, you have to press and hold these two with your foot. I don't know. Unless you're a monkey, I'm not 100% sure how you're supposed to do that. Con number two, all of these wonderful mini dials. Good, really nice that they have, hang on, let me try to get back to tuner. How the frick does a tuner work? There you go. Oh, really nice that they have the colors and all that, but they are so small, so sensitive. I'm not sure if in a gig or live scenario with at least my fat fingers, I would be able to do this accurately. And possibly my biggest gripe here is if, like me, you have a bit of a crap memory, I would have to actually count the ticks on the IR cab and the amp cab to see 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm on no cab now. And according to the instructions, I need to go on the Fender Champ, which is 5. Then I'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and count them out. Would it have been that difficult to kind of have a visual representation, at least of these two on here? It just doesn't make sense because I do not see myself switching this. And it's just so loose that I don't know, am I in 5, am I in 4? Same thing with the amp. I'm not saying they had to put the wording of what the amp is, but just a number, so at least I know I'm on that number, because here I have no idea. I need to count every time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work for me. That's just beyond my mental capabilities. My final con, and this for me is the biggest one, I've got to be perfectly honest. I really struggle to get a usable tone out of this, except for maybe a cleanish, Fenderish type sound, or maybe the Marshall amp. It's just very difficult to get something that doesn't sound like it's muffled underwater. It doesn't sound realistic. It sounds like a person who doesn't really play guitar thinks those amps should sound. The distortions are not natural at all. They are either too muddy or too fizzy at the top, uninspiring in terms of trying to create with this product. And that's been my biggest issue making this video. In terms of the effects, the reverb's half decent. The delay, I'm not a big fan of, and I've got to say the mod effects, whatever they are, because they're almost indistinguishable one from the other, really, I did not like those. One final thing regarding the sounds, and as always, this is my biggest gripe with a lot of these companies that make plugins or multi-effects amp simulators, is you want to put your best foot forward, right? Their presets are what everyone goes to first. If your presets aren't good, you're going to lose a lot of people already in those first 5 minutes of playing. The presets here are amongst possibly the weakest ones I've ever heard in my life. They really are quite shocking. The cleans all sound the same. The distortions all sound either too muddy or really harsh. The levels are all over the place. And normally I would be fine with that. But deal breaker is that all of these are disabled. And so if my levels are all over the place on a preset, why can't I fix it here? I just don't get that. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. We all have different guitars, different pickups. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. Okay, guys, let's now move on to our favorite part, to my final thoughts. And get ready for it, because here goes. I personally would not recommend this. It is not a product that I feel is up to standard yet. I think that there's the possibility that through upgrades, it may get better. And there's no doubt, because the infrastructure is there. The build quality, as I said, is really good. It has the basics. What really upsets me is that they've put clearly a lot of time in kind of making it pretty and all that stuff and all these functionalities, but they went completely wrong on the sounds for me. The foot switching just doesn't make sense to me. The fixed things in the presets, what the hell's that about? I'm sorry, this is not something that I would feel comfortable playing live. It's not something that I would rely on. I have not shown in this review the app and the software that goes along with it, simply because even there, the infrastructure is there, but it's not yet to a level that I would find acceptable. If you're selling something at this kind of price, yes, we all make concessions, but also it should be accessible to a beginner. I don't think that this is accessible to a beginner. I think it will potentially turn off a beginner. It kind of really defeats the price point here. As I said, if you're willing and you've got the know-how to put your mind into it, I'm sure you can get a decent sound out of this. But for me, it takes too much effort, even if it's $50. There are way better options out there. Hotone, Joyo, even Harley Benton, any of those multi-effects are better than this. This does not do it in terms of sounds. Okay, guys, I hope that wasn't too negative. I'm just trying to be honest. As always, I will put the links to this bad boy tank down below. And yeah, check it out if you want, because, you know, I'm sure you guys are way smarter than me and will probably manage to get some better tones out of this. But those were my 2 cents, and I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. This channel is growing super fast, and I've got some really cool stuff coming up. Don't forget, be good, be nice to each other. It's a beautiful world. Enjoy what you're doing and play loads of guitar. See you later, guys.